Welcome to Two Mediums and a Large. My name is Lara.
And I'm Robbie.
And I'm Heather.
So today we want to talk about a topic that I think so many of us run into, especially on our development. But just in general, I think everybody runs into this kind of trap is the comparison trap of comparing yourself to other people. Now, this could be through, your journey into mediumship, any sort of light work that you do, but this can also just be in your everyday life, comparing yourself. And our thoughts are so frequently changing the way our reality is. So if you're going to focus on the negative parts, you're going to always project that out to the world. So I think it's important we kind of talk about this topic and how to kind of reframe your mindset. And, that way you can go forward with a more healthy mindset and finally like attracting the things that you want. What are your
Yeah,
guys' thoughts?
and I think you're right about it does. I mean, it is a lot in the field that we're in, but it's in everyday life. Even
Yeah.
before I started doing this, comparing myself to other people and their successes at the same age, or even like there'll be times when I will see like on TikTok or somebody, some young man or woman that are millionaires because they went viral on TikTok and thinking, God, I'm over 40 and look where I am. It's like you really get stuck in that. I can't go any further because I haven't achieved as much as I think I should have.
Well,
And they do.
this starts from when you're young. Like you have to think like your early elementary years and stuff like that when you're going through school and like you're already, it's like the world already kind of shoves that down your throat of like you need to compare yourself to your peers and you need to compare yourself. Maybe you're not as smart as the other kids or you're not as pretty as the other kids or you're not as tough, like whatever it is. And that's something that we have years of building through our lifetimes, right? And then we get to a point where we're like, okay, how do we shake all of this that's literally embedded in us? And then choose to be authentic and choose to be ourselves in a world that can be so cruel and so forward. And nobody stops and hesitates to not hurt somebody. You know what I mean? Like if you're somebody, especially that does social media, you'll see there's people that always have an opinion. And it's harder to kind of hide that now that we're out. Um, we're putting ourselves out there on the internet. Back in the day, we didn't have the internet. So like, these things were kind of easier to bypass and you're only around your immediate people and stuff like that. Now you put yourself out there, you're putting yourself out to the world. Anybody can search you, anybody can trash talk you, somebody from across the world, and so I think it's important to kind of learn how to remind yourself that people's opinions of you is not your business. I think I've said that before. It's like everybody has something to say, so it's better you just kind of go out and be yourself rather than restrict yourself, because no matter what, you can be the most gorgeous person in the world, you're still going to have people that are going to have something to say about you.
Heather, what about you? What do you think?
100%. I mean, there's been so many times, especially in mediumship for me, this has been really big where I've compared myself to people because I'm very hard on myself. I want to be essentially the best. But the goal is not to be the best. The goal is to be authentic to self. So I think where that comes from is I want to do a good job. I want to help people. I'm so passionate about that. So I think like if you can kind of shift your belief system and have it kind of work for you and kind of, shift your perspective, I think it can actually be quite helpful. But I know from, watching social media, and I just joined social media within the last year, which I know sounds crazy, but it's true. And you see all these people, they're posting all this stuff, and I feel like, you know, they're presenting a certain way, but, is it really that they're truly successful, or are they just presenting
Right.
that persona? Which I think can be it can be misleading in a lot of ways, and I think people get really down on themselves when they see all these posts on social media, and these people are doing so much better than them, perceived better than them. But I don't know if there's a lot of truth behind that. I think people kind of play this part on social media to make
Kind
themselves
of
look a
embody
certain
what it is to
way.
be confident, but they're not sure if they're actually confident. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's something we all do in everyday life sometimes, right? Is we portray this as much as I love to be authentic and go through my life being authentic, there are times and days that I realize, shit, I'm not being authentic today. and it's because we let those things get to us. Like I'm not making as much money as this person. I'm not getting likes on Facebook, uh,
Yeah.
all those kind of things, and I guess, Heather, you and Larry both have talked about changing mindset, which is absolutely true. I believe in that as well. But I think the question that I have, and a lot of our listeners might have too, is it's great to hear because we hear that all the time from people. You just change your mindset. But what's so hard is when you're there, changing it, right? How do you change it when you're there? How do you get out of that so that you can start changing your mindset? And what do you think about that, Heather?
I totally agree. I think it's more than just a mindset shift, 100%. I think there's, so much more that goes into that. Um, I think too is what I wanted to say there was actually what you're actually saying to yourself. I think that that's a big part of, shifting the mindset is how are you actually talking to yourself? What are you listening to? What are you surrounding yourself with?
Who you surround yourself with, like what thoughts. Yeah, it's like affirming certain things to yourself. I know people think like, okay, telling myself all these confidence boosters and affirming things to myself probably won't do much, but it actually really does reframe your mindset if you're consistent.
What do
Heather,
you
what
think?
what else? Music.
Sorry.
And two, I think a lot of people, like, I know sometimes I get that way, and it may not even comparison get this way, but you just get down, right? And you're like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to watch something sad, or I'm just going to listen to sad music. And so you just start bringing yourself more down and more down. And then finally you're like, well, how am I going to get out of this? And I think just changing that sort of thing where when you get down, rather than saying I'm just going to wallow in it, it's, well, can I listen to a song that'll help me? I even saw a video the other day where I think scientists are now saying that if you don't if you're in a bad mood, just start fake laughing, because you can trick your brain into thinking that it's a real laugh, and you can start being
And my
happier again.
neighbors might think I'm a little bit crazy too if I'm sitting there just fake laughing to myself all day.
Right.
It's true though, because your brain doesn't know the difference, right? Between those experiences. So if you have like a moment where like you're really down and you're out, but then you have a moment where you're really happy, if you shift your mindset or, your thoughts to, a time when you were happy, your body will actually start to change. So I hope it makes
Guys,
Yeah.
sense.
I'm in this
Yeah.
phase right now. I'm in the comparison trap. I'm in the phase of feeling out of alignment. All these things we're talking about, I'm going through it right now. I'm going through my own things. So let that be known that like even though we understand it, we are still going to go through it. And it's like something that's
Sure.
an up and down, kind of battle. Like some moments you feel great and some moments you're going to feel like you need to work through it again. And you're humbled by that again, right?
Yeah.
So
And sometimes, we are very lucky, the three of us, and that we have each other, that when we are in those places, we can say, hey, I'm like this today. And sometimes we'll jump in and say, hey, just do work through it, or, snap the heck out of it. Right. And
yeah.
so,
Thanks, Heather.
Heather, I was going to say Heather.
It's
Yeah.
always you.
Heather always threatens to smack both of us, and I'm not afraid to smack her back. I mean,
I know, but
but
every time she's right about it, she's like, I
she
wish
is.
I could just shake you. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I wish you could too, because I'm
Which,
over
just disclaimer,
here.
we do not condone violence. But go ahead. Okay.
Yes.
No, but we're lucky in that some people don't have that. And so I think it's important to know that when I didn't have that, and when I don't have that, um, I try to do the same thing. Is, what can I be happy about? What is there anything? Okay, I can't be happy, then I'll pretend. And most of the time it brings me out of it. It may take it a day or two, and you get kind of like, why am I pretending like this when it's not even going? But it helps. It does help. The affirmation. I used to be one of those people that I'm saying affirmations every day, and they're not working. And then I just decided that they weren't working because they weren't using the ones that I needed. Right.
Mm.
So I would just make it my own, and that fit me better, and that helped.
Yeah, if it's
So
like finding
yeah,
something online to copy and that's going to help you because you're unsure how to do it, then find it online. If you're somebody that, you want to write out specific affirmations for yourself, then do that. It's whatever is easy. I find for me, so when I go into meditation and I sit in the power, we have our thoughts swirling, but I find it really helps when I quiet the mind and I really just affirm in that moment. things about myself. Like I will just say one affirmation after another affirmation. And these are all done within my head, but I find I can feel my vibration lift in those times when I'm doing that. And I notice that it opens up a stream of like opportunity too, because after I do these things, it's almost like it feels like it's under like a magnifying glass when I do this because you're already, you're in meditation, you're connecting with your guides, your loved ones, the angels, and then you are also affirming. And I find that after that, it's like I come out of it and everything just feels better. Opportunities flow. And so that I would recommend is a good time to do it if you're somebody that likes to meditate. That's how I do it.
And I've seen uh videos of, I can't think of his name, but he's a really powerful manifester. He does a lot of manifesting classes, but I saw a video yesterday where he was talking about the best way to manifest is in meditation because you're reaching those vibrations and go in and I think that's exactly what you're talking about is being able to
Yeah.
manifest yourself getting out of that. And I think that's I think it's good for people to know sometimes that you can manifest things other than money or material things. You can manifest a new mindset. You can manifest new ways you feel because I know for a while I was just stuck in this. I'm going to manifest $3 million, and I mean, I'm still trying, but it'll happen eventually. But you can do more than material things. Heather, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Like what I did a couple years ago was I would actually go into a meditative state and I would, say for example, I was facing, self-worth issues. And I would actually picture myself being in a beautiful garden with my spirit helpers. And I know this sounds kind of woo-woo, but and I'd actually picture them removing from my body anything that wasn't serving me or anything that was adding to me not having the self-worth. And then I would start to, think like, well, why do I feel this way? And I would actually trace it back to the past. And I feel like this will be very helpful for people. I would trace it back to the past. And a lot of that stems from childhood and the beliefs that were instilled from our parents and society, other kids at school. And a lot of that stuff isn't even ours. We're like carrying all this stuff that isn't even ours. So I would daily go in and have that energetic release where I would imagine it being removed from my body. And then I think, well, what's one step today that I can take to improve my self-worth? Well, why do I feel like I'm not worthy? Well, it's because, I don't show up for myself. How can I expect other people to show up for me if I'm not willing to show up for myself? So in what ways am I not showing up? Well, I want to lose some weight. So I'm going to start going for a walk every day, even if it's only 10 minutes. And then you can build on that and keep
Yeah.
the momentum going. And I feel like that was a really big shift for me a couple years ago when I was really trying to rewire my brain because I did have a lot of limiting beliefs. I had a lot of negative self beliefs about myself and what I could actually do to be successful. And I knew that those things had to be moved out of the way if I was going to progress and have a professional business.
This
Yeah.
is interesting that you bring this up though. Like I've been watching a lot of videos about manifesting and, just really being able to bring something into your field. And one of the things that I find interesting is like people that manifest, sure, maybe there could be something just falls in your lap, but you actually have to take actions that will
Yes.
differ from your everyday life. So you can't sit on the couch every day and manifest $1 million. Sure, I'm sure it's happened that was, somebody went on a scratch ticket or something. But most of the time, when you're manifesting, you have to actually take the steps to embody what it is that you want. So, if you are manifesting to be highly successful, you have to take steps that are going to create success, whether that's putting yourself out there, doing something different, waking up every day early, and starting a bit of a new routine to bring that on. It's not just going to fall in your lap that way every time, but when you start taking these steps to doing it, you are drawing that closer because you are becoming that success. You know what I mean? And I think that
Yeah.
that's why it's so hard for people. They're like, okay, well, I'm manifesting. I do it too. Everybody does it. We all sit there and we're like, oh, I want this so bad. But then we're in a state of need and desire instead of this is what is. This is what you deserve. This is your embodiment, right? And I feel I have to regularly remind myself to do these things because it's so easy to fall back into that trap of being like, okay, I'm never going to get it. It's too far out of reach, but it's literally taking the steps to get to where you want to get, right?
And first of all, I would like to say I don't appreciate you calling me out like that. Um, but second, I think you're right. I do think you're right there. But I want to ask you ladies a question, and because I want to get real here and raw. Because
Oh boy.
when I look at you, when I look at both of you, and I'm sure other people watching or listening to this look at you, I see two amazingly beautiful, talented, smart women. Okay. And so some people may look at you and go, how the hell can they have this comparison issue? Right. Um, because presenting, you look like you have it all together. You wouldn't have these. So how would you explain to people that are looking this like this and saying, wow, I can't believe that these beautiful, talented women have this too? How would you be able to explain to them like how you get through it and how that happens, you know?
First of all, thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. And I love that you think of us that way. Um, but I think for me, one of the things I can only speak on my own experience, but people only see what we put out to the world. They don't see how much we struggle, what we wake up looking like, all of our failures that we've had, all of the weak moments we've had, or moments that, we were the person that we're not proud of being. Nobody sees that, except for us. And we hold ourselves basically in our own minds, like on this almost like this stage that shows and portrays all the things that we aren't. And then we see all these people on social media and they look successful. They have big bank accounts and they're gorgeous and whatever it is. And it's so easy to compare ourselves and be like, you know, I don't look like that all the time. Sure, I'm sitting here with my makeup on right now and there's some good lighting and stuff like that. So we feel better about ourselves in that moment. But then once you turn all of that off, you are just a regular person, and the only people that are going to see you that way too is going to be your family and your closest friends and stuff like that are going to see those moments where you are feeling weak. And I think that's why it's so hard, is because of things like social media and people able to portray whatever it is they want. Like, my house isn't clean 24/7. I compare myself to like not having the nicest house, not having the most success, maybe having like openings in my calendar that I wish were booked out. And I'm like sitting here feeling like shit about myself because I'm like, am I not delivering? Am I not doing enough? And the fact is that it this is just the way it is for everybody. Everybody's going to have those down moments, right? Heather, how's it been for you?
I mean, thank you so much for that beautiful compliment. Um, as I said, like self-worth, that's been a huge one for me my entire life because I never felt worthy of pretty much anything. And I'm being very vulnerable when I say that. As I've let what other people thought about me bring me down before in the past. And I feel like, now I'm no longer willing to allow that to happen. I've taken full responsibility for myself and shown up for myself. And I feel like that's where that confidence kind of comes from. So I feel like, if you are struggling with that, really look at, how can I show up for myself? Because that is really tied into self-worth. And I feel like once you start doing those things for yourself, you're going to be able to you're going to build that momentum. You're going to build that confidence. What drives me is being here with you guys and helping people. Nothing lights me up more than helping people. And mediumship, I think, is one of the greatest expressions of that, of how I can be of service to the collective. So, that really keeps me going. And I want to show people too, that it's possible. It's possible to rewire your brain. It's possible to rewire your belief system. It's possible to, remove those, limiting beliefs and negative, self-talk, all of that stuff. It's all possible for you to transmute that. And I think like that's really what powers me. But it definitely wasn't easy. I was bullied as a kid. I didn't really have the best support system. I never grew up with like a close family dynamic. So I feel like I've used all of those trials and tribulations to my advantage. And I feel like a lot of people, might benefit from that too. See, if you have a situation, how can you flip the perspective on that and actually use that situation to your advantage and use it almost like as fuel to your fire to like keep your momentum going.
Yeah,
Beautifully
I think
said. I love
it's
that.
great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Robbie, I
I
wanted
think
to
that
ask you, you went out kind of on your own before we started this podcast and even before we all met. And you started doing your own YouTube and how did you anchor into your why and anchor into who you are and be able to project yourself out to the world and just be able to like kind of lift yourself up out of that and be like, okay, I'm gonna do it without somebody just kind of pushing you.
It was hard. It was incredibly hard. For the first 2 or 3 videos, I literally sat and recorded 80 times each video because I would get halfway through it and go, "Oh my gosh, there I see a hair coming out of my nose. That's disgusting. I'm gonna re I was so hard on what I thought other people were going to judge me on that I was telling myself, no, this is not good enough. And that's part of what I had to get over was I was I was letting everybody else tell me no before I even gave them a chance to see it. Right. And then, you put it out there and you start getting comments, that anybody does. And it makes you back away a little bit and say, I don't know if I want to do this. But there did come a time where it was just basically, if I am going to be successful, I have to be who I am, because too, at the beginning, I go back and look at some of those, and I was like, that's me, but it's not really me. I'm still putting out this projection that this is who I am, and quietly, I'm a child in a man's body. That's really who I am. And so when I realize I can let people see that, and they can understand this is who I am, and I'm not ashamed of it, that's where it went. But the big thing was me not being ashamed of it, right? Because that's something that we all go through. That's part of that comparison thing, is I'm ashamed to be doing this, because I don't want to bring shame upon the family or whatever. So once I worked through that, and it was hard, it was a lot of journaling to myself. It was a lot of pep talks to myself. Um, it was a lot of sending videos to people and say, "What do you think about this?" Which I realized wasn't the best idea because it would come back and I was still like, well, I like what they're stupid. They don't know anyway, right? Um, and it was just saying, like I've done on a couple of videos where you will see me mess up. I'm just like, screw it, I'm going and I'm
Mhm.
going to stop it and post it because that's who I am. I
I'm
don't,
one of
and a
those
lot of,
people where I'm like, 1, 2, 3, just post and
yeah,
get it over with, or
exactly.
else I'll never do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's hard. It's really hard to do that. But two, I had, like you guys, I have the drive to help people. I want people to get the information that I have. And one thing that I noticed, one of the big reasons I even started doing any of this was that I would notice that I had these questions, but the people that had the answers had so many paywalls behind them that I couldn't get to it. Right. I just want to know how to develop my intuition. Well, that's $5,000. Or, I just wanted, so I wanted to provide as many free resources for people as I possibly can. So that's why I started the YouTube to start teaching. That's why I have so much stuff on my website to try to help people because that's what's important to me. Now I also love reading for people and love doing the healing sessions on them. But if I can help somebody understand and learn how to do it themselves, I don't want to see them again. I want them to do it and not have to pay me for it. And that's part of I don't what may make me different than other people, but that's me. And again, that's what I had to accept that was who I am.
One of the things about you that I've noticed before I met you was you come across so genuine and so heart-centered. And I find that's really hard to come by because there are a lot of people in mind that, you know, they have the abilities to do this, but they come through like, and I could be portrayed this way, other people, but they come through with like, less sincerity through their posts as you come through with like complete genuine, you can feel your energy. And I told you this when I met you. I was like,
Did yeah.
listen, I'm talking to you because I literally felt like you had the best energy. And now that I know you so well, I will still stand by that because that is what drew me to you. And that's, me and Heather we were friends, but that's what made this so easy. You're just so easy to get along with. You're non-judgmental and you do things very heart-centered. And I think that anybody that's going to come to you for healings or whatever it is that you're offering at that time is going to benefit just by knowing you in that moment.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's something again, being authentic has helped me too. Is to just put it out there. And if they make fun of me, they make fun of me because I joined the club, right? I've been made fun a lot in my life. But if not, if
Listen,
I can reach
everyone's
one
wearing
person,
glass houses, right? We all
Yeah,
have our issues. So
I really appreciate that, Lara. It helps me a lot.
welcome.
And you're so supportive. Like you've been so helpful to us. And I just feel like the three of us, like I feel like that's why we've come together. I feel like we all represent, that authenticity. We all come from the heart. We're all passionate about people and what we do. And I feel like that shines through in our podcast. And I feel like, I sent this to you guys yesterday. I had someone message me and I was really down like the last, I think our video on YouTube got like 4 views. And I was like, should I really
No,
be
no,
doing
it's up
this?
to 9. It's up to 9.
Yes. Um, and like someone messaged me and they were like, keep going. Like I love your podcast. I've listened to all your episodes. You guys have helped me so much. Like, and I know you guys have also
Organic growth.
gotten, yeah, like it honestly, like that's what lights me up. That is why I do what I do. So I just want to say thank you to all of our viewers on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Thank you so much for being so supportive of us. We couldn't do this without you. This is why we do what we do.
Yes, of course, we
Agreed.
hope to grow, but if we do this and we only ever reach like 4 people, but it helps them, then that's cool with me. And this is honestly like a highlight for me. I love getting on here and just talking with you guys and sharing my thoughts. It's kind of like therapy. Like it
It is.
feels
Kind
like
of is,
therapy.
yeah.
Like sometimes I get on here and I'm like so excited and I just want to like talk, talk, talk. I feel like I could talk for hours. And then
Yeah.
afterwards,
And then
like
and then
I'm relaxed.
and then Heather comes in and says, I have a hard stop. You guys have to act, or I'm gonna just walk out, or something like that. And then
So
we're like,
mean.
whoa, okay, fine.
That's
But
so
I agree,
mean,
I really enjoy this. It's like a highlight of my week
Oh.
because one, I enjoy talking to you so much. And these podcasts, sometimes I forget we're even doing a podcast. I think we're
I
just
know.
talking in one of our meetings that we have,
I
so
know.
that's what I love about it. And I think that's what people will like about it is it's just
And
us.
this, going back into manifesting, this is one of the things that is helping us build our dream because before this, we were trying to manifest things, but we weren't taking steps. We literally took this step in our life, something so different, but you can only have change in your life if you make change. There is no room for the universe to give you what you want in your life if you keep holding on to what doesn't serve you, right? So this is one of those things where you're making like positive changes in your life. That's how I feel about it, and I find it's been really beneficial for us to do this. I've seen so much positive opportunities and stuff that have come out
Yeah.
of this. It gets your creative kind of juices flowing, and now you're like, okay, now we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. It builds your confidence, you know.
It does, and it helped us to learn how to step out of our comfort zone,
Oh,
right? I know
huge.
my guides tell me all the time, what you want is outside your comfort zone, buddy. You just have to step out of it. And I'm like, no, I'm good here. I'm fine. I'm okay. And then I
We're
realized, yeah,
surviving.
we made this step, and you're right, things have started really changing and coming to us because we're like, fine, we'll get out there, we'll put ourselves out there. Another thing I wanted to mention, I know that we've got a hard stop or Heather will beat us, but um, is that your looks, okay? And I want to go back on this, not because I want to harp on it, but I was talking to another lady the other day, and she's very beautiful as well. And she was talking about this fear of being seen. And of course, the first thing on my mind was, God, why would you be fear to be seen? But she had a totally different, take on it. And I want to ask you guys about this. She said hers was more of a fear of being sexualized than it was of being seen. So I know that that's something you guys may worry about. And even after what I said, does it bother you that some people may see you like that?
Um, I think that there's going to be people that are like that no matter what, whether you're posting on your Instagram, your Facebook, you're out at the bus stop, whatever it is that you're doing. I think there's going to be people like that. But more so, I want to say that I fear that like people won't look at me like I know what I'm talking about. And because they may be like, oh, she's got like the long hair, she's got her makeup done, that maybe that makes me less um successful or less knowledgeable, but like that has nothing to do with it because what I do and what I learn has nothing to do with the way I look and portray myself to the world. This is what I showed you guys. This isn't who I am inside. I'm the weird person that sits there with my glasses on and watches alien shows and does all these, self-help things and meditates and does basically all the granny all the granny shit at home. And then I get on here and I do my hair and makeup. And that's how it is, right?
That's cool. I'm glad you have that perspective of it. What about you, Heather?
I totally agree with Lara. Though for me, like I'm not worried about that because I feel like you can't control what other people think. So I'm wasting my time if I'm worrying about,
Yeah.
if someone is sexualizing me or not. All I know is I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to be true to who I am. I'm going to show up true to myself and let people think what they want and not be worried about it. I think people are really drawn to, and I feel like I'm speaking for all of us. I feel like people are really drawn to our energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing for me is coming through authentic and genuine and really, sharing my light and, you guys too, sharing our lights with the world. So that's
You ever
Yeah.
where my
watch a
focus
show?
is.
You ever watch a show and like you see the same actor in two different shows, and one of them they act super shitty, and one of them they're like nice and charming, and you're like, ooh, like good looking, but like I honestly hate him because
Yeah.
of the way they act. And so I think that literally you can be not attractive and you can draw in 10 times more people than somebody who is attractive because of who you are and how you are to the world.
I just, you know,
With
just so you
that
know,
said,
I
because I know
just,
Heather's got to get going,
yeah.
and I don't want to cut you guys off. I just wanted to let people know of what we are going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. So the three of us have decided to kind of put ourselves out there and host a little bit of an event. If it gets a lot of traction, we may do another one. I believe we're calling it Messages and Healings from Spirit for the holidays. So if you want to join this, I think it's going to be, what did we say, $30 per person for a max of 20 people. And we'll probably host more than one event because I think we'll get a lot of traction on this.
And if
Where I
all
will
four
be
of our viewers, if all four of our viewers want to come, there's plenty. You can. Go ahead, Larry.
definitely
I'm
host
sorry.
all four of them. But in this, I will be doing some mediumship reads. Robbie will be doing some healings, and Heather maybe mediumship and some channeled messages. So
I like
everyone's
it.
sure to get something out of it. So if you want to join that event, we'll be promoting it on all of our pages. Just let us know, give us a follow, and please like and subscribe
Mhm.
as we want to grow and help as many people as we can. But they won't know unless we grow, right? So,
Right.
all
All right.
right. Anything
So
you guys
it
want to
was,
say?
I just want to say thank you. It was a great day. It was a great podcast, I think. And I look forward to next week's.
Yes, I always do.
Always a fun
All right.
time.
Talk to you guys soon.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.